Outlander's Sam Heughan, the man fans adore as Jamie Fraser, is now at the center of a shocking revelation. Reports claim the Scottish star has been hiding a secret affair, and the truth behind his mysterious romance is finally coming to light. What really happened behind the cameras? And who is the woman everyone's talking about? Stay tuned. This story will leave you speechless. Well, Sam Heughan is adding another exciting project to his ever-growing list of accomplishments. Widely known for his role as Jamie Fraser in the hit historical drama, which is set to conclude in early 2026 after 8 successful seasons, Sam continues to prove that his talents extend far beyond acting. Already the proud founder of the Sassenach Spirits, a premium beverage brand best known for its award-winning whiskeys and gins, Sam is now branching out even further. On November 1, he took to Instagram to announce the launch of Sassenach Fine Scottish Vodka, the brand's newest addition, just in time for the holiday season. In a sleek video shared with fans, Sam unveiled the elegant new spirit, revealing that it's now officially available for purchase. The news sparked a wave of excitement among fans eager to experience the actor's latest creation. Just ordered! Very excited to try it! Ordered! Cannot wait to add this to the bar! Others celebrated Sam's continued success, with one follower writing, "The U.S. is about to get a little more Scottish, and we're here for it. Sláinte." The new launch comes on the heels of a series of milestones for the Scottish star. Just weeks ago, Sam opened the Galloway distillery in his hometown of Galloway, Scotland, a proud moment that marked another step in his growing spirits empire. He also recently released his latest book, The Cocktail Diaries, A Spirited Adventure, in September 2025, offering readers a behind-the-scenes glimpse into his passion for mixology and travel. With the debut of Sassenach Fine Scottish Vodka, Sam Heughan once again demonstrates his entrepreneurial spirit and deep love for Scotland's rich craftsmanship. Here's to another toast-worthy success. Sláinte to the Sassenach's newest creation. You think you know Sam Heughan, right? Wait until you hear what he told me about his latest cocktail book. It's not what fans expected. Sam Heughan has long been associated with Highlander heroics and Scottish heritage. Now he's turning one of his passions into a published exploration. His latest book, The Cocktail Diaries, A Spirited Adventure, is available as of September 2025. The book is described as more than a recipe collection. It's a travelogue of spirits and cocktails rooted in history, culture, and personal story. Heughan has not only acted, but built a spirits business and traveled widely. The book draws on that. What I asked him was simple. What was most surprising about making this book? His answer turned into one of the more unexpected takeaways of our discussion. The connection hub. Heritage, spirits, and storytelling. Heughan told me that his journey producing spirits started when he returned to Scotland and realized the great culture and heritage we have and wanting to share it. But what truly surprised me was this, his discovery that the idea of spirits as cultural connection isn't unique to Scotland. When I was in Louisville, you could feel it. The bourbon culture, the lore, the pride of place. In New Orleans, you're literally holding history in your hand. That realization shaped the book. He said, I didn't want it to be comprehensive. I wanted it to be very personal. So rather than covering every cocktail in existence, the book picks those that struck a chord with him. Classics, personal favorites, and inventive riffs. Structure of the book and highlights. The Cocktail Diaries is divided into 3 distinctive parts. Top 10 classics, Heughan's favorite stalwart cocktails with his own storylines, simple and timeless, accessible yet rooted in quality, complex and conversational, more advanced, story-rich concoctions, including ones by guest mixologists. In Barnes & Noble, a signature creation, the Sassenach, a cherry-spiced Scotch riff on the New Orleans Sazerac. It embodies the mix of tradition, personal twist that defines the book. Other personal touches. For example, the book mentions a gin-based bramble inspired by his habit of picking blackberries on country runs in Scotland, staining shorts purple. While the heritage angle is robust, he also makes space for fun. For instance, I've yet to find someone who doesn't secretly love a cheeky tiki cocktail. Heughan on his fondness for a pina colada. While I expected stories of Scotland, whiskey, heritage, what caught me off guard was how broad his scope has become. A few points stood out. Global cocktail culture mattered, not just Scotland or Scotch. Heughan talks of bourbon in Louisville, historic cocktails in New Orleans, spirits in Nepal. The idea, drinks reflect local identity, pride, history. That cultural lens surprised me in its breadth. He didn't go for a celebrity cocktail book angle. Instead of simply slapping his name onto fan-favorite drinks, he curated a personal journey. He wants readers to just start your own journey. Country living, heritage meets playfulness. Even with serious backdrops, he emphasizes having fun. His approach keeps the book accessible rather than intimidating. That duality surprised me, the serious and the light blended. His business/acting life intersects. Heughan's work with Sassenach spirits, his acting career winding down with Outlander, his return to stage, all weave into how the book came together. It's not just a side project, it feels like a pivot in his personal narrative. For fans of Heughan, you get more than recipes. You get his worldview, journeys, stories behind the drinks. For cocktail enthusiasts, this book offers a bridge between classic cocktails and cross-cultural inspiration. For anyone who enjoys storytelling, he uses cocktails as a gateway to travel, heritage, personal growth. The book reflects a trend where spirits and cocktails aren't just drinks, they're narrative vehicles. They tell us where we've been, who made them, what traditions they carry. Heughan captures that. From our chat, I left with a few personal takeaways. I'll try the Sassenach. A Scotch twist on a classic, that kind of inventive riff appeals to me. I'm also drawn to the simple and timeless section, cocktails that are accessible but still rooted in good spirits and story. I like that Heughan encourages starting the journey rather than being intimidated. His voice is welcoming. The idea that culture, place, and drink are deeply intertwined. Next time I sip a cocktail, I might ask, what story is behind this glass? Sam Heughan's The Cocktail Diaries is more than a celebrity stunt book. It's a curated exploration of drinks, place, story, and self. What surprised me most wasn't just his love of cocktails, that part I expected, but how deeply he connects them to culture and his journey. If you pick up the book, don't just look at the ingredients. Look at the anecdotes, the places, the traditions. Because behind each drink is a story, and behind the book is a man who's found a way to merge his passions, acting, spirits, travel, heritage, into one inviting glass. For years, Sam Heughan has been known as the charming Scottish actor who brought Jamie Fraser to life in Outlander. His rugged charisma, deep roots in Scottish culture, and unmistakable passion for craftsmanship made him one of television's most beloved figures. But when I sat down with him to talk about his newest project, a cocktail book titled The Cocktail Diaries, A Spirited Adventure, I realized this was not another typical celebrity side hustle. The conversation revealed something deeper. A man using the language of cocktails to tell stories about heritage, travel, and the joy of shared experiences. What surprised me most wasn't just how much research he poured into the project, but how personal and emotionally layered it turned out to be. A natural evolution from whiskey to words. Sam Heughan's journey into the world of spirits isn't new. Over the past few years, his whiskey brand, the Sassenach, has won international awards and become a symbol of Scottish excellence. But as he told me, the Cocktail Diaries grew from a desire to expand that story, to go beyond whiskey and explore the universal language of cocktails. I think of this book as a journey, he explained. It's about where drinks come from, how they bring people together, and how each one carries a bit of history and identity. It's storytelling in a glass. The book was released in September 2025, right around the time Outlander wrapped its final season, a fitting coincidence that marked a new chapter in his creative life. Not just recipes, a journey through time, taste, and place. The book itself is divided into three key parts: top 10 classics, simple and timeless, and complex and conversational. Each chapter blends historical background, cultural context, and Heughan's personal reflections. There are, of course, elegant recipes, but there are also photographs from his travels, sketches of bar scenes, and stories about the people behind the drinks. What makes it different from a typical mixology manual is the tone. It's immersive, almost cinematic. You can practically hear the clink of ice, smell the citrus peel, and picture the fog rolling over a Highland loch as he recounts where a certain drink was first made. I wanted to create a book that anyone could enjoy, whether you've never mixed a cocktail in your life or you've been behind a bar for 20 years. It's not about perfection, it's about experience. When I asked him what inspired him to start writing, Heughan paused for a moment before smiling. It actually started during the pandemic, he admitted. I was home in Scotland, everything was quiet, and I found myself experimenting, not just with spirits, but with storytelling. I realized that every drink I loved had a memory attached to it. I thought, what if I could capture that? That insight turned into a 3-year project of travel, interviews, tastings, and writing. He visited distilleries in Kentucky, mezcal makers in Oaxaca, and speakeasy bars in Tokyo, all while filming the later seasons of Outlander. And that's when he discovered the most surprising thing of all, the global unity of spirits. Everywhere I went, people had a ritual, he said. In Japan, it's about ceremony. In Mexico, it's about community. In Scotland, it's about heritage. But the feeling is the same, sharing something special with someone else. That thread, connection through drink, became the emotional backbone of the cocktail diaries. From Scotland to New Orleans, the cultures behind the cocktails. Heughan's book takes readers across continents. One of his favorite chapters explores the culture of New Orleans and its contribution to modern cocktails. New Orleans blew me away, he said. It's not just about the Sassenach or the hurricane, it's the way the city breathes history. Every bar has a story, every glass feels like it's been touched by ghosts. It was there that he created one of the book's signature recipes, the Sassenach, a fusion of the traditional Sassenach with a Scottish twist. Made with the Sassenach whiskey, cherry bitters, and a dash of absinthe, it embodies everything he loves about blending old and new worlds. Heughan's enthusiasm for cultural discovery spills into every page. From the warmth of Caribbean rum to the clean austerity of Japanese gin, he treats each ingredient like a character in a novel. Writing a cocktail book might sound glamorous, but as Heughan described, it required immense discipline. There were days when I'd spend hours testing proportions. Just a dash too much citrus can change everything, he said, laughing. It became like acting in a way. You rehearse, you experiment, you find truth in small details. He collaborated with several bartenders and spirits experts, ensuring the book had both narrative warmth and technical accuracy. Every recipe was tested multiple times, photographed with precision, and tied to a memory or a lesson learned. Perhaps the most charming part of his storytelling is his honesty about mistakes. In one section, he recounts an evening of disastrous mixology experiments while trying to impress friends. The kitchen smelled like burnt sugar and regret, he jokes in the book, a reminder that mastery often starts with failure. The most striking revelation of our talk was how philosophical Heughan has become about the act of drinking itself. A good cocktail, he said, isn't about alcohol, it's about intention. Why are you drinking it? Who are you sharing it with? What does it remind you of? He believes that cocktails can serve as a window into understanding culture and connection, that they tell stories about migration, adaptation, and creativity. For example, he describes the Negroni as an Italian protest in liquid form, a post-war invention symbolizing defiance and style. The margarita, he notes, is the taste of the borderlands, of people and cultures blending together. Heughan's insights reveal a mind that's as reflective as it is adventurous. The personal side of Sam Heughan, fans may be surprised by how much of himself he reveals in The Cocktail Diaries. Between the recipes and travel notes are personal anecdotes, moments of loneliness while filming abroad, memories of family gatherings, and reflections on how fame changed his sense of home. When you spend so much time playing someone else, he said, referring to Jamie Fraser, you sometimes forget your own story. This book helped me remember mine. He talks about growing up in Dumfries and Galloway, where his earliest memories of gathering around a table with friends inspired his appreciation for community. It wasn't about what was in the glass, it was about who was there, he said. The book also includes candid photography, not glossy studio portraits, but snapshots of his travels, a hand reaching for a cocktail in a Havana bar, a misty Highland morning, a notebook filled with tasting notes and doodles. Beyond the screen, a new chapter for Sam Heughan. With Outlander officially ending, Heughan finds himself at a professional crossroads. Rather than leaping straight into another blockbuster series, he's investing time in creative projects that reflect who he is today. I've loved every minute of Outlander, but I think it's important to evolve, he said. The show taught me discipline, empathy, and storytelling. Now I want to tell different kinds of stories. That includes continuing to grow the Sassenach brand, developing documentary projects around travel and culture, and possibly writing more. I've always been fascinated by how history and myth overlap. There's a richness in everyday traditions, like sharing a drink, that people often overlook. It's clear that for Heughan, The Cocktail Diaries is not an endpoint, but a bridge to something larger. Perhaps a global lifestyle brand built on authenticity, heritage, and warmth. What I found most refreshing about the book and about Heughan himself is its celebration of imperfection. While the pages are filled with elegance, the underlying message is one of humility and exploration. Perfection isn't the goal, he told me. Curiosity is. Some of my favorite cocktails came from accidents. I think that's true for life, too. That philosophy gives The Cocktail Diaries an inviting quality. It doesn't talk down to readers or demand expertise. Instead, it encourages experimentation, laughter, and shared discovery. It's easy to imagine readers, fans of Outlander or not, trying their hand at his recipes on a Friday night, perhaps turning the page while sipping a Scotch-infused old-fashioned. Heughan's personality radiates throughout the project. There's the meticulous craftsmanship that comes from years of portraying complex characters, the humor that keeps things light, and the unmistakable sincerity that has made him beloved by millions. He describes the process of photographing the cocktails as like directing tiny films. Each setup had to tell a story, light, color, and emotion all working together. I wanted readers to feel something when they looked at each drink, a memory, a curiosity, a spark. That cinematic approach sets his book apart from other celebrity publications. It doesn't read like a marketing product, but like a genuine labor of love, something shaped by artistry, not algorithms. As our conversation wound down, I asked Heughan what he hoped readers would take away from The Cocktail Diaries. I hope they realize it's about connection, he said softly. We live in such a digital, fast-paced world. Sitting down and making a drink, even for yourself, slows time. It makes you present, and that's something worth preserving. In a way, that's what this book, and perhaps Heughan's entire post-Outlander era represents. A return to authenticity, to slow living, to savoring the moment. Walking away from the interview, I couldn't stop thinking about how differently I viewed cocktails afterward. I had expected to talk about spirits and garnishes. Instead, I found myself thinking about storytelling, culture, and the quiet intimacy of sharing something meaningful with another person. What surprised me most wasn't what Sam Heughan said, it was how he made it feel. There's a rare sincerity in his approach, a willingness to blur the lines between art and life. In The Cocktail Diaries, every page feels like a toast, to heritage, to travel, to learning, to the unexpected. It's not just a cocktail book. It's a reflection of a man who has spent years portraying passion and loyalty on screen, now channeling that same devotion into something real, tangible, and beautifully human. So when you pick up the Cocktail Diaries, don't rush. Pour yourself a glass, maybe one of his beloved Scotch twists, and read slowly. Because as Heughan reminded me with a grin before we wrapped up, good stories, like good drinks, aren't meant to be rushed. They're meant to be shared. When the Cocktail Diaries hit bookstores and online retailers in late September, it immediately generated buzz not just among Outlander fans, but across the food and drink community. Within its first week, it climbed Amazon's new release list in the food and drink category, and major publications like Town & Country and Country Living ran glowing features highlighting the book's charm and authenticity. For longtime fans, the launch felt like a celebration. After years of seeing Heughan sword fight through centuries and love across time, they were ready to see him as himself, a Scotsman with a deep respect for tradition, a taste for adventure, and a contagious enthusiasm for storytelling. Social media lit up with photos of fans holding the book alongside their homemade versions of his recipes. On Instagram, one follower wrote, "Who knew a cocktail book could make me cry? It's not just about drinks, it's about finding joy again." Another fan joked, "I can't make half these cocktails yet, but reading Sam's stories makes me feel like I've traveled the world." That emotional resonance is what makes the Cocktail Diaries stand apart from other celebrity releases. It's not glossy for the sake of gloss. It feels intimate. From distilleries to bookstores, the launch events were just as dynamic as the book itself. Heughan hosted a series of signings and pop-up tastings in Edinburgh, London, and New York, blending literature with libation. Instead of a typical red carpet rollout, he opted for cozy venues that echoed the atmosphere of his book, soft lighting, wood tones, and a faint scent of citrus and oak in the air. At the London event, Heughan told guests, "This isn't a book about drinking, it's a book about living, about connection. Every story, every recipe, every photo has a person behind it, a place I fell in love with, or a memory that changed me." Reporters noted how relaxed and grounded he appeared, far from the glitzy persona often attached to Hollywood stars. One journalist from The Scotsman wrote, "Heughan's sincerity is disarming. You sense that he's not selling a brand, he's sharing a piece of himself." During the New York tasting event, he even jumped behind the bar mixing a round of the Sassenach himself. Guests described the scene as electric yet humble, with Heughan chatting easily with fans about travel, Scottish heritage, and even the bittersweet end of Outlander. Early reviews from literary and lifestyle critics have been overwhelmingly positive. Town & Country called the Cocktail Diaries a handsome, heartfelt blend of craftsmanship and character, praising its balance of sophistication and sincerity. Country Living noted, "Sam Heughan has done what few celebrities manage. He's made a lifestyle book that feels authentic rather than aspirational." Meanwhile, food writer Jennifer Park from The Guardian highlighted the narrative strength of the work. You come for the whiskey, but you stay for the stories. Heughan's writing has a quiet rhythm, confident, warm, occasionally wistful. It's a reminder that culture, much like a cocktail, is meant to be shared. Even professional mixologists have applauded the technical side of the book. Some have praised its clear instructions, beautiful photography, and thoughtful use of locally sourced ingredients. A bartender in Edinburgh told a local paper, "It's the kind of book that inspires you to be curious again. You can tell it was made with respect for the craft." What's perhaps most remarkable about the Cocktail Diaries is how it's introduced a new audience to the world of spirits. Many readers, especially fans who had never mixed a cocktail before, say they now feel inspired to explore. People have begun sharing photos of their own creations using Heughan's recipes. Some have even hosted Sassenach nights where small groups recreate drinks from the book while discussing travel dreams and personal stories. One user wrote, "This book made me reconnect with my dad. He used to bartend and we tried one of Sam's recipes together. It turned into an evening of laughter, storytelling, and a lot of spilled ice." Heughan's influence clearly goes beyond celebrity. In many ways, he's using the book to remind readers that rituals, whether mixing a cocktail or gathering at a table, are part of what keeps us human. While the emotional core of the Cocktail Diaries is undeniable, it also represents a smart evolution for Heughan's growing empire. His spirits brand, the Sassenach, has become a multi-award-winning label since its launch, with new products in development including a tequila and a limited edition gin inspired by the Scottish wilderness. But the book isn't a marketing ploy. If anything, it humanizes the brand. By connecting each spirit to a story, Heughan reinforces the idea that quality and authenticity can coexist in a commercial world. A business analyst who follows celebrity brands commented in Forbes, "What Heughan is doing with Sassenach and the Cocktail Diaries is brand building by emotional storytelling. He's not selling whiskey, he's selling belonging. That's what makes his approach sustainable." Reflection on fame and identity. During our interview, I asked Heughan if he missed acting full-time now that Outlander had wrapped up. His answer was thoughtful. "I'll always love acting, it's in my bones," he said, "but this feels different. Acting tells someone else's story. This book tells mine." He admitted that fame can be isolating and that writing offered him a way to process life beyond the spotlight. The act of creating something tangible, a book, a drink, a story, grounded him in a way that constant filming could not. When you hold a glass in your hand, it's real, it's weight, it's craftsmanship. I missed that sense of touch, of making something that doesn't disappear when the cameras stop. That raw honesty might explain why the Cocktail Diaries resonates so deeply. It's not about the glitz of celebrity, it's about the quiet rediscovery of self through art, culture, and sensory experience. From screen idol to cultural curator. In recent months, Heughan has hinted at future projects that expand on the themes of the book. He's reportedly developing a documentary series exploring global cocktail cultures, a visual extension of the Cocktail Diaries that would take viewers behind the bars of cities from Kyoto to New Orleans. He emphasized, it's not just about alcohol, it's about people, history, and the art of slowing down. This transition from actor to cultural storyteller feels natural. After all, Heughan's on-screen career was built on portraying a character obsessed with loyalty, heritage, and the meaning of home. Now, through his writing and enterprising projects, he's continuing that exploration in real life. He's also aware of the irony that his fame, initially tied to fantasy and time travel, now helps him preserve real traditions that risk being forgotten. Sometimes playing a man from the past helps you see how much of that past we've lost, he said. Maybe this is my way of bringing some of it back. If the Cocktail Diaries marks a new era for Sam Heughan, it's one grounded in gratitude. Throughout our conversation, he returned again and again to the idea of community, not just among bartenders and travelers, but among fans who have supported him for over a decade. "They've grown with me," he said. "We started with Outlander, and now we're here, still telling stories together. That's what makes it special." Heughan's humility, charm, and passion continue to make him one of Scotland's most exportable talents. Yet, beyond the fame, what's most impressive is his consistency. Whether he's wielding a sword on screen or a shaker behind a bar, the motivation is the same: connection through story.